Hello, everybody. This is Hazen Fields II.
Hazen Fields III here.
I'm Lex.
And it's Father's Day! Happy Father's Day,
Happy
Pa.
Father's Day. Well, this is a special Father's Day episode of Various Fields, and you're watching Various Fields, and we're happy to have you again on these Father's Day. And today, I am a very proud father of two of the most amazing gentlemen that I honestly have ever met in my life, and it's honestly they're just two great guys, and I'm very, very proud to see how they've grown up. And I'm sure on this Father's Day, now I know you're not one. Now you guys are saying it's not Father's Day. That was weeks ago. Yeah. So, but for us, it's Father's Day, and we want to celebrate.
We're stuck in a time loop. Sorry.
Not quite, but yes, but we want to celebrate all the fathers out there. Sometimes, a lot of my friends who are fathers, we kind of lament. My father used to do the same thing. That Father's Day doesn't get the same appreciation as Mother's Day. Now, I don't know if that's true necessarily, but apparently it is, because there's some statistics that people were reading about where Mother's Day lands in comparison to other holidays.
And where does it land?
Well, in terms of importance.
Oh, I mean,
you know what I'm saying? Not.
There's like a tier list for holidays, and Mother's Day is higher up, I guess.
I guess based on capitalism.
Yeah, it's like I don't know, do people react more to Mother's Day than Father's Day? And I guess I know my father used to say that. If Nels gets some information, looks like he's searching some information, you could just share it with us. All right.
Mother's Day is, depending on country, Mother's Day is the second. I mean, it's celebrated on many different days throughout the year. Mother's Day is the second most popular holiday for gift giving, following Christmas.
Well, now wait a minute.
That's
Now,
actually
can you find out while we're talking? Is there any way you can find out about Father's Day? Where does that land?
Second to Christmas.
Is that something? But that makes sense. I
guess.
I know my mother. She definitely believed that, because it was like, if you miss Mother's Day for my mother, boy.
But I would also say it's in terms of gift giving. Like, I've asked you plenty of times, Pops, like, what do you want?
Oh, wait a minute. Nels looks like he's got some bad information here. Here we go.
Number 7.
Wow, number 7.
In terms of gift giving.
Wow.
After all of the above, which is Mother's Day, back to college.
Back to college? Wait a minute. So going back to college lands higher than Father's Day.
Wait a minute.
That's hilarious.
Wait a minute. What's number?
Is that even a holiday?
It says books, clothes, microwaves, things like that.
Wow.
But the holidays, aka Christmas, back to school, K through 12, fathers clock in at number 7.
Wow.
Yeah. Interesting.
Ask you a card?
Yeah, well, no, listen, it was a beautiful card at that, and I thank you so much. But but dads don't get a great break sometimes, so I don't know if that's because of just his. No, it's just. What do you mean we? Wait a minute. Is there something I need? Oh. No. Anyway. What are you doing?
I don't even know.
It's a small violin.
I know it's a small violin, but anyway, dad, did he just?
No, he's
okay.
fine.
No, but dads, have not often gotten the respect that they should get sometimes, and I'm not one. I really don't like, like, hey, celebrate me kind of thing,
Right.
But I do like celebrating other people. And dads, if you're out there doing the right thing and you're, doing your best, trying your hardest, sticking in there with your kids, well, we celebrate you today. And this episode is kind of talking about celebrating dads and what fathers do.
Okay.
So, I'm getting a little nervous because I may ask you guys to tell me, what do you think that, was happening in your home with your, me as your father? And I'll do the same about my father, because, I was blessed to have a phenomenal dad, and I want to celebrate him too.
And what do you think you did as a father?
I mean, you did wear a lot of different hats growing up, so I understand that.
Well, the answer is a lot.
Yeah,
And I mean,
a lot.
A lot is the thing, and both in terms of like quantity, like a lot of jobs, a lot of like directly jobs that directly compensate you in terms of financial things, and then also just putting yourself out there for a lot of people, and therefore a lot of things that are work based, but more also community based that then we also received.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Now, did you guys feel excluded? Were you guys, what I mean?
Maybe
I don't
in
know.
a youth, maybe I was like, oh, your dad's always away. But not now. It's like when you grow up, you start like understand why father's away.
Yeah,
you know,
your dad's
but like,
working, yeah.
exactly.
All
But
right,
like, like I know for a fact that you were like a cab driver at one point in time, right? You worked out in a lot of church communities, a lot, right? You were like a musician for hire for not even just a church, for this like a lot of different things. So
Two jobs that I which I won't put out there, but I know they also wrote like you always to me you never had you never had more less you never had Jesus I'm so sorry you always had more than one job. Let's do it.
Right,
That
okay.
was very Porky Pig.
occupation.
But also you were a clown.
Yes,
yeah, that's right.
okay, so there has been. So before we get to that, because I don't want to step on that, but I do want to kind of celebrate Hayes Milton Fields the first, and that is my dad. And one of the things that I was very blessed to find after my father had passed, we had some reel-to-reel tapes that he was back in the 60s and 50s, 60s, and 70s. Having a reel-to-reel recorder was a big deal.
Right.
It was almost like having a studio, and he would record family members talking. So I have a lot of tape I had some of his tapes that were able to be restored. And I have the voices of my sisters when they're like, 7, 8, and 12 and 13, and myself as a baby, and my father and my mother. So I have a lot of reel-to-reel recordings that one of these days I'm going to, we'll eventually get up to the point where we'll get a laptop in here and I can play some clips of sound effects of my dad talking.
Yeah. I know that was a big inspiration for this actually, right?
Yes, indeed. Absolutely. My father had always wanted to be in broadcasting. And unfortunately in this country, for an African-American man in the South, it was difficult to find those opportunities. But he made his own way. So he got a reel-to-reel, and he actually practiced and did commercials and stuff like that and advertised his own. But he had his own business called Michelle Dauphine. Michelle Dauphine was an actual store where he took me to what I thought was like a scientist lab, but they made colognes. However they did it, my father had a guy that was able to make these colognes. And and Michelle Dauphine, if anyone remembers it or knows it, you can just comment or like or what have you. And my dad created his own line of colognes, hair grease products and things like that. And my mother would make the fashions, so it was like a boutique. And family members would actually go door to door, like what was there was a Fuller Brush company. And people would go door to door and sell. And that was my father. He had family members and friends and people who were interested in, working. They would get a collection of his colognes and go door to door and sell Michelle Dauphine cosmetics.
Oh, very nice.
And he went as far as we would have meetings at his store, and it was in Lower East Side of Manhattan. And me and my sisters would go there for morning meetings on Saturday mornings.
Very nice.
And this is for everybody. Once again, if this is interesting you, this is Various Fields. Please like, subscribe, and
Share.
hit all the buttons, comment. And I'll continue it and talking about my dad and Michelle Dauphine. He had the song. It was like a rallying cry kind of song for a sales meeting. So it was, did you ever use Michelle Dauphine? There's nothing better. Did you ever use Michelle Dauphine? There's nothing better. Did you ever use Michelle Dauphine? There's nothing better. There's nothing, there's nothing, there's nothing better. What? There's nothing, there's nothing, there's nothing better. Right. So that was his thing. So I don't know if this has ever been put out onto the internet. So finally, my father's song is out there, and hopefully I'll be on the internet forever.
You told me about the Michelle Dauphine thing. You've known about that for it. I don't think I've ever heard the song before.
Yeah. It's like at one point in time when you were bringing this up to us when we were younger, we thought it was just kind of like a small, like mom and pop kind of thing. But you make it sound like it was like a fairly large racket.
We knew it was
You know?
So the concept of what is large is not necessarily contained in the size of the building. Because it was, my father had a large vision, and it was bigger in the vision than it was actually in the store itself. So, it wasn't a big place, but his placement in the world was gigantic because a lot of people in the community really gravitated towards his ideals. And he did a lot of things. He had shows and gospel shows and things like that. And me and my sisters and my father was very, very, even to this day, I always talk about not being able to fill his shoes. So his name was Hayes Milton Fields the first. And I love you, Dad. I know you're up there organizing things in heaven when things fell off, but I thank him.
He's doing a better job than he thinks.
I'm only kidding. I'm saying, but my father was that guy.
Yeah.
So are you, pops? I know you. I know you. Actually, so you were saying earlier, fathers don't get all the respect they deserve, eh? Well, this is the one time you gotta sit down and not be humble, cause this guy, he does a lot, a whole lot. Yeah, I saw it. Listen, since this thing started, he's been running a gamut. What did he do on Father's Day? First thing he does is compliment us. Yeah, you thought you'd get away with this. We're supposed to compliment yourself. First thing he does is compliment his own father. It's like, I don't think I can live up with it. And I see what you're doing. This guy's being humble.
As wholesome as this episode has been so far, I also want to bring up the fact that you said you couldn't fill your father's shoes. But can we turn back to the point of you being a clown at one point in time?
All right.
So at some point in time, you had bigger shoes than your father.
That was
Well
That
done.
was good.
All I'm saying.
Can you do an applause? There's got to be an applause button for that.
I'll applause myself.
That was very good. That was good. That was good.
Thank you. But it wasn't even just for
No,
me.
it's
It
true.
was just
That's
more the
good.
fact of in terms of doing all of the doing all in the above, right? For your children, right? I would imagine that being in a position of, I guess, universal, if not critique, if not ridicule, at least there's a humor pointed at you, right? To put yourself to be laughed at is because that's the point of a clown,
Wait for the compliment.
Right? The compliment is the fact that to humble yourself in a position, right? When people are saying that there's a lot of positions I don't want to do, I don't want to put myself in, anything like that. And here we are saying, oh yeah, my father was a clown, and I take pride in that because of the fact that he literally would do anything he could to support the household, including slapstick humor. So, so I really appreciate it.
Well, I really appreciate that, guys. But I'll tell you how it started, and in a minute I'm going to show the world the actual costumes that I wore. There are two costumes. One is the original costume my mother helped made, and the other one, a friend of mine made an updated version of it, for another program that I was doing. And this will be the first time I'm going to actually have you guys wear the Whistles jackets.
Or
Wow. What happened to the applause there?
it's there. It's
Okay. Never mind. So what happened? The way Whistles was the clown's name, and the way he came about was basically my wife, her sister. Well, I think it began with a sister or somebody else. And they asked me to come and play guitar, at one birthday party, and I would bring my acoustic guitar and play. And I think the next year was like, oh, can you put on like a makeup or something? And I was like, weird. I was like, this is getting weird. And actually the first year that I did makeup, I didn't know what I was doing at all. Well, I always jump into things. I never know what I'm doing. And so I put my mother's lipstick that she had left over on my face and it broke me out because apparently lipstick is so you're not
funny.
really supposed to put lipstick on your face, or at least on my face it broke. But anyway,
the tears behind a clown's smile.
the tears of a clown. Yeah. So but what happened was this was years and years ago. So I went to a big store in the Bronx that sold magic tricks and costumes, to get proper makeup. And then it just hit me. I said, listen, how much does a clown make? I didn't, because I was just doing it,
Yeah.
And the guy says, well, he said something curious. He says, well, it depends. And I said, it depends on what? He says, well, if you're going to be a regular clown or a magic clown. And I said, well, what's a magic clown? He says, well, if you can do at least 5 illusions, you can consider yourself and call yourself a magic clown. And I said, well, how much does a regular clown make an hour? He says, how do they make it? He says, well, at the time, this is big. He said, about $100 an hour.
So good.
And this is like what, 70s?
This is probably early 90s.
Okay, early 90s.
Early
$100
90s,
in the
something
early
like
90s?
that. I said, oh, okay. Well, how much is a magic clown? He said about $150. So of course I'm like, oh, well, magic clown. I'm gonna be. So I learned some sleight of hand. I learned through books how to make some balloon animals. Not very good. I started off slow. I made like a snake, the number 1, the letter I, the letter L. A spear. We start off slow. But,
wizard staff.
But exactly. But then I was learning to make different shapes, and I was horrible at face painting, but the guy taught me how to do it. He says, put an ice cream cone on a person's face. You can make a half circle and a triangle. It's ice cream. It's like, okay. So I don't have your talent of drawing, so I was just, and then I could whistle very loud. I went
hence the name.
Hence the name.
Okay.
And at the time I used to wear different whistles on my neck. And I never, I start off with putting, a lot of makeup on, trying to the makeup thing, but I always came out looking like it, because it was like I didn't know how to put makeup on, so I just come out looking like, the Joker or something grotesque.
Oh boy!
So after a while, I decided to be, become a Ringling Brother and allow my skin to be mostly shown so the kids can relate to that, because there's a lot of African American clowns are not out there, in the business, if you will. So now you get a chance to do that, and that's how Whistles was born. And I do remember the first day that I donned the makeup, and I had to go to someone's house, a stranger. This is after a while, and I would get on the number 2 train. I had to go to the Bronx for the show, and I would go and I would mime, do pantomime, kind of Harpo Marx.
Is that like a subset of clown?
Well, but it's it was my traveling, because I didn't know how to do it, so I would wear my full costume
Okay.
on the train, and I would pass out cards. While doing slapstick. So if someone's sleeping on a train, I would imitate them sleeping, and other passengers would, think that was funny. I was careful not to make fun of, but I was,
okay. Everyone
mimicking.
laugh with me. That way it's not ridiculed.
That one guy on the train.
But it was, and then I would make balloons and pass them to kids and give the parents a card, and that's how I got the name out of it. But when I got I had to convince myself this is a uniform like any other uniform, and that's what it is. And so I thought it was honest money, and it was entertaining. I enjoyed it.
How long do you think you did it for? About
I did it pretty about 5-6 years.
yeah,
Yeah, maybe a little longer, but it wasn't regular. It was it
right,
was pretty
understand.
often. My biggest fear was like being in the Bronx and the kids that would see you going to a party. It was like magical, but they were kind of, hey, clown, yo, clown, yo, clown, yo, clown, and and I was always afraid to be not I didn't mind the idea of being murdered, if you will. Listen, it was just no. Listen, what I'm saying, no. I'm saying this, but you're kind of afraid. You're in a clown outfit in a place you don't know.
I feel like most people would be more
Afraid of the cloud,
No,
right?
no,
You never know what's coming out your pockets, right?
No, no. But my fear was.
Give me your wallet. Okay.
Hang on, it's coming. It's coming.
Sorry.
No, I was more afraid of the chalk outline with the shoes and stuff like that. This is where the murder happened. You see
But
big feet.
don't you clowns run deep? You have a whole clown posse.
That's what I'm saying. I think it's a different type of clown.
You get your
different
clown,
clown.
and everyone rolls up on the same car.
Yeah.
But I can't imagine a drive-by from a clown car.
No, I traveled alone. I was a lone clown. Lone clown.
Gotcha.
And but I tell you what. Why don't we get a look at what Whistles used to wear? And would this be the actual first time you guys have ever worn the Whistles jacket?
No, it isn't. I remember you
No.
telling me to put this on a little bit ago when I was younger.
I think I've worn your shoes when I was younger.
All right.
But not the full ensemble.
So why don't you guys? Okay, the hat is pretty new. Why don't you guys put these on?
I'll take the hat.
The hat. Who's got the hat?
take the
Who's
hat.
got?
He's like, I claim the hat.
He's the
Hang on,
hat.
I just wanted
He's
the
a
audience
hat.
to
Here's
see
the
it.
hat, and you can get the tie.
I'll do the tie.
Okay, there's a tie somewhere, and you
And
didn't.
then you can have the jacket. I'll do the tie.
Okay, that so.
Which one is the original?
Trey is holding the original out.
I'll put it
Whistles.
right in front right here.
That's the original one that my mother made. So my mother's handiwork is right there being shown to the world. That was Sadie Fields, and that was an outfit, and she used to have a line of clothing called Lorena Togs, which were named after her mother. So that was the original one. So you can try that jacket here. Here you go, Lexington. There you go, and that's that jacket.
And
there.
this is the return of Whistles the Clown.
No, this is the return. Yeah, this is the return of Whistle the Clown. This was made by a gentleman, Mr. Adrian McClan, and he Adrian is a talented. Maker of clothes, tailor, seamstress. He does everything, And he made this for me when I was doing a show called the Gallimaufry Gallery.
Oh, okay.
And this is a little bit of the costumes, and that's what I'm wearing. And I'm honored that my sons are wearing them.
I've always been half clown.
I need a jacket too.
You gotta
All right,
put the jacket up.
I will let you know we have been slightly bamboozled because we did ask Dad to talk about his clowning and his clowning days, and then
We've been clowned.
you've been clowned.
No, my
Surprise!
No, but my clowning days were just like that. I would get hired by churches and.
This makes me feel fancy. I'm not sure if it should.
Well, Whistles was kind of your dreads are inside the jacket. You may want to
Yeah, I'm gonna take them out. Just imagine this person, because I'm like known as a clone of my father. Just imagine this person
this
walking
would've
up to
been
you
closer.
at like 3:00 in the morning, right? Coming from a long day of entertaining.
Pop. So, guy, for the audience,
Crying
I know
children.
that you talked about how my dad had multiple jobs all the time, and some of these jobs intersected. Can you tell us a story about the one time I think you were working late overnight and you went from your clown job to being a taxi driver?
Well,
Oh, that was a heck of a
Yeah,
transition.
well, what it is that
It's my favorite.
Sometimes my son remembers the stories that I was in full clown regalia, but I think what it was that I might have had some makeup left over. Sometimes trying to take the makeup
I
off.
don't know which is scarier, honestly.
I know. And I did drive cab part time, because I've always had one main job, which I won't mention, but that was my main job that brought me up here from New York City, and that was a computer job. That's what really paid the bills. But because how the shift worked, and I worked with computers, and so it was a shift work, and so the way it gave me 4 days off. So I grew up in a household where with 4 days off, if you weren't working, then you were being lazy, or it wasn't you had to find something to do.
On vacation.
Yeah. So I always had something to do. So if I did some clowning at a show and I had makeup on, it was quite possible that I would be driving a cab with some residue or more than residue of clown makeup.
How many passengers did you pick up that day?
Well, I would pick up passengers, but they would be all huddled in one side.
That's
of
what
me.
I thought. Yeah, so,
No, it didn't happen as much. But I think that the imagery was that
I feel like you told it to me this way
Really?
one time. At least
I don't. It's quite possible. My memory is very bad. It's quite possible I might have had a jacket on.
Did you ever have to power the cab by foot?
No, I have
No, it's
not.
not like that?
Well, also this isn't like this is another thing about being a proud half clown, because this isn't also beyond. Because I remember one time on what was it, Easter, you went in like a full Easter bunny suit and you went to the grocery store and asked for carrots.
Yes, I did.
bit.
But it was what it was. I also work with people with disabilities, and part of my way of operating is to be self-deprecating, and because a lot of people in that community, they don't get a chance to to be the lead, if you will. So if you have someone that you can be the lead over, so a grown man in a bunny suit sometimes is your lesser, and I enjoy, so I would wear, so we would have these parties, it was a pajama party, so one day I bought the Christmas Story bunny suit, and I went to Price Chopper to get long carrots, the regular carrots with the tails and stuff on it. Right, and so I would. I think what it was is that I have very little fear in terms of stuff like that. So I don't.
It's a good bit.
It's like sometimes I will forget, I'm wearing something and it's like, I should not be concerned about integrity and dignity, and I'm like, nah.
Yeah, I mean, you're wearing full rainbow. It's like, what else could they say?
Right, but that was his colors, before it became popular, if you will, and I'm happy about it, so it's and you guys wearing it, it reminds me of, why I wanted to do it, and was like anything I could do to further you guys, and then it's just what it is, and that's what But anyway,
make it sound like this is our inheritance.
Well,
and then you too shall be found.
Well, based upon my financial outlook, yes, this very well may be your inheritance.
Everything the light touches shall honk.
Anyone says he can't get nothing with funny money is wrong. He got nothing but funny money.
But yeah, so that's Whistles, and Whistles would play guitar and sing songs and stuff like that. And I would take all of that and I would bring it over to the place where I work with my friends, and we created a show called the Gallimaufry Gallery, and that was part of the outfit.
That's right. There was a news snippet about
There was
you,
a news snippet out there.
Because you were not just a clown at that moment; you were also like a puppeteer as well.
Well, we did a bunch of stuff. I had a puppet that was like. He would come in and do part of the show and stuff like that. So what it was during the pandemic, we didn't have a way of entertaining our friends or supporting our friends because everybody had to do it online. So as opposed to just okay, let's watch a movie, we created something that was the cross between the Wiggles and Barney and Mr. Rogers, and we created a 2-hour show. And we would do it every day. So 2 minutes, man. Gosh. Guys, I feel like is this self-indulgent?
No, it's Father's Day.
It's please, enjoy.
Talk about,
you don't need to talk about yourself a lot. So we've just been here sitting down listening about your wonderful spectacle.
Well, listen, I hope this was interesting, give you some insight into just what my family has been about myself, and maybe you, because there are people out there, other fathers. Don't be afraid, and what you have to do to earn money for your children. So we're just about now 2 minutes. Any last words you guys want to say?
If you're ever a clown, comment clown below, or tell us about your clown.
Stay
stories.
clown, stay proud.
Yeah, clown and proud. Yeah,
that's it.
We ain't fooling nobody.
Oh my goodness! Actually, we're going to be watching a sort of a clown on in the movies a little later on today. Yeah. But anyway, listen, ladies and gentlemen, this has been a very touching moment for me. But I love you guys more than you ever know. Since I first met both of you, I loved you ever since. And so. You, everybody, wow, I'm getting a little bit here. So, everybody, God bless you all. Thank you so much. Fathers, keep on doing your thing. Nels, thank you so much. And
I actually completely forgot. I know we have like a minute left. Fathers, just because we are now found out how low in listing Father's Day was, just make a comment in the comments below and tell me what kind of gifts you would want for Father's Day, right? And we could just make that part of the list. But that's about it.
All right, then. All right. Are we done, guys?
Yeah. This has been Various Fields, everybody. Thanks for joining.
All right.
Love
Good
y'all.
night.
See you soon.
Happy Father's Day, guys.